No, I took us both off. Yep, we're live now.
Okay.
Hey guys, we are live. And I'm Bob from One Stop Mouse, and this is Amy Scott from AJC Magic TV, who I've watched for a long time, but have never gotten to meet. And so we're basically going to get to know each other right now. I hope everybody's okay out there. Please do me a favor and subscribe to both One Stop Mouse and AJC Magic TV. And thank you, Amy, for rushing off a stream you just had to get over to here with like minutes to spare. I really appreciate that. How are
Oh
you
yeah.
doing today?
I've been doing pretty good. It was kind of a long day with work and stuff, but other than that, it's been not too bad of a day. Actually, the weather was kind of nice today here in the northern area. I'm in
You live up
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
Pennsylvania. I
the
was
western
wondering.
side, the
The,
Pittsburgh side of the state.
the last thing I saw on your channel, I was looking all over, and the last thing I saw was a trolley ride in Pennsylvania. And I thought
Yeah.
that was really kind of cool. Do they still have those going all the time, or was that a special event or
Um,
something?
no, they actually have a Pennsylvania Trolley Museum in
Really?
Washington. Yeah, it's in Washington County in on the western side of Pennsylvania. The area is called Washington, PA, and Houston, PA. Area. It's at the Meadowlands, they call that area, where our
Right.
Washington County Fair takes place. They have a building and stuff, and it's an organization that kind of runs it. They do the tours almost daily.
Wow.
Then sometimes they do special events, like around Halloween. They usually did a pumpkin trolley thing with families and took them for a ride to the fake pumpkin patch, and the kids could pick out pumpkins and stuff like that. And
I love
then
that about your channel, the way you do Disney stuff, and then you're talking about what you like about fall, and then Disney stuff, and you're on a trolley. Real life
yeah,
stuff kind of interjected. It kind of mixes it up a little bit.
yeah,
Um,
you kind of have to be a little inventive since you're not down near the parks. So
yeah,
you want to. I figured, well, I might as well showcase around where I live and different things that are up around here in case you are traveling or there are people that even live in this area that don't know that there are things like that to do.
I didn't. I liked it. I would definitely. I'll probably, if I'm up in your area, I might say, hey, where is that trolley museum again? And do
Yeah,
that because that looked really cool.
yeah,
Excuse me for a second. Let me
no
just talk
problem.
to the chat for a minute. We got James Ryan in here, who we both know. He's a great guy.
Yes.
Disinfinity, very creative, 13-year-old young man who's got over 5,000 subscribers. He's a great guy. We have Isbel, who I just got laid off from Disney, and Isbel was basically on my team at the Disney Reservation Center. So we're co-conspirators trying to figure out what to do with our lives next. Dances with Goofy Adventures, welcome in. Orlando Adventures, that's Isbel's. He used to be the Disney kid. That's Isbel's son who's starting up a channel. And if you could subscribe and like us, bang that little button, we would appreciate it very much because it helps us do other things like seeing a taste of fall or trolley rides or whatever you like. I do miss the fall. I've only been down here for a year and a half in Orlando, and I already missed the fall. I used to live in the mountains, and I
Okay.
can't believe I'm already missing it. So
Yeah. Yeah, it can be kind of strange. I know, like when I lived there in the '90s, like Christmas time, seeing Christmas trees, and it's like 80 degrees, and even when you visit there, at Disney at Christmas time and stuff, it's not now. It's a little cooler in the evenings and things, but there's days that it can be hot.
Amy, you are a former cast member from back in the 90s, and I am a former cast member from back a week ago. What did you used to do? Where did you used to make magic?
I started off at the Hollywood and Vine restaurant
Uh
in
huh.
the more in the culinary, food and beverage area.
Right.
At that time, Hollywood and Vine was more of a cafeteria style restaurant where you went in, ordered an entree and everything. They did later on when the Playhouse Disney and stuff was real big. They then made it into the buffets that they have now, like the
Right.
breakfast buffet and stuff. Because they only did lunch and dinner whenever I worked there at Hollywood and Vine. Then I moved over to Primetime Cafe, which is the 50s
Oh,
style diner type of
yeah.
thing where they kind of do the antics. I'm not sure how much of the antics that the cast members are allowed to do these days, but they were pretty antic where, hey, if you didn't eat all your food, they do the airplane or have you do funny things or just, having fun.
Well, I know that that. I mean, there's only like one or two places I haven't gone to, and one of them is the Primetime Cafe. So I know I'd heard rumors that if you didn't eat your food, they made you like stand in the corner or something like that.
Yeah, sometimes they'll
And
do that. Sometimes they'll get you to eat one more bite and do the airplane thing.
what's the
I
airplane
think
thing? Like airplane into
where
your
you're
mouth
like,
thing, like a
yeah,
little
with the
kid?
infants, like, here, take a bite type of thing. And the people really enjoy that. It also depends on the cast member you have, of course. So
Right.
sometimes, hopefully you don't get the person that's either having a bad day or they're the dud that's not really like, why are you working here if you don't want to do the antics? But like I said, it all depends on what Disney's allowing them to do these days, because I know they tone down like the Whispering Canyon Cafe and stuff.
I know they really did. They only
And
have the
it's
ketchup thing, and that's about it now, I
Yeah,
think.
and it's been a while since I've actually, like you, eaten at the Primetime Cafe because we try to pick a different place each time we're at
Right.
Hollywood Studios.
Wow. Dances with Goofy Adventures. I miss Fall as well. I'm in Atlanta, but we still have one, but it's not the same. Yeah, I actually was talking to somebody. I'm from Georgia. I lived up in the Georgia mountains. I had somebody talking to me about going north of Atlanta to the little German village of Helen because it snows there. And it does snow there, but it's not a normal thing in Georgia for it to snow. You know, it might snow twice a year or something like that. But wow, okay, that's cool. So give us a little rundown of your channel, like where everything started, you know, when you started, how it started, that kind of thing. Just for as if somebody were just walking up and never heard of you before.
Um, Basically, I just started out as getting starting a channel just so I could chat in various people who were live streaming. Um, a couple of the people they were actually live streaming on Facebook, and
Right,
then switched over to YouTube, and then that's kind of how I ended up when they kind of switched over to there. Then I was like, okay, I want to chat, so I did use my personal name, and then I thought, I don't really want to use my personal name. Let's come up with something because I think I may want to start doing some of the things that they're doing.
right,
And when you're actually, so I started out watching different people and learning and asking questions, just various channels. And then it kind of grew because then, you, um, it kind of grew because then, when you're watching one Disney type of YouTuber, it suggests other ones. So then you start
right,
looking around and then you kind of pick the best or different ones. But I watch various ones, whether they're small, kind of, live streaming throughout the parks because, hey, I want to see the parks, or one of the
right,
big channels that's, I'll watch. And some of them were on steady nights. Two of the people that I watch, they stream every Thursday and the other person streams every Friday. People stream every Friday night. So I know at this time on Friday nights or Thursday nights, I can go and watch them. And and then I thought through another channel, people, that's where I kind of learned. Like I started just using the YouTube app until they made the rules of where you had to have 1,000 subscribers to actually use their app. So then I
right,
had to think about, okay, what am I going to use? And through those other people, they said, hey, use this one like Streamlabs, and and there's a couple
Right.
other ones. So I started playing around with that, and I just went live one day in downtown Pittsburgh, and it was Christmas time doing like the Christmas market, and I thought, oh, okay, this is fun. I hope to go to Disney and stuff. But then I was pulling out some different things that I had, different pictures from trips and just some other things, and just started making videos from that. And then I thought, well, I'll start at the local amusement park here in Pittsburgh. Kennywood had Christmas lights, so I thought, hey, I'll go live while I'm at the Kennywood lights. Now this
Right.
year they aren't having any of that because of everything, but they also decided they think they had decided they were thinking about possibly doing it, and then they decided, you know what, we're just going to hold off and concentrate getting ourselves ready for 2021 and get the
Right.
parks ready. And I'm sure, like any of the other amusement business, that the crowds got hurt.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania is a little bit different than what Florida was going on, but it did take a while for them to be able to open over the summer
What
this year.
what is Kennywood? Is that like Dollywood, like Kenny Rogers?
No, it's actually um, there. It was like called Kenny Grove. Somebody's last name was called Kenny.
Kenny,
It actually Pittsburgh was a steel mill area,
right?
and a lot of people took trolleys, and it was a place at the end of the trolley line in West Mifflin, Duquesne, Pennsylvania area of Pittsburgh, and it was actually just like a picnic grove park that they had, and people would go there on Sundays and stuff, and then it just developed into this amusement park. It's over 100 years old. It's
Really?
more, yeah, it's a big family oriented park, but they are updating it with various different coasters. Their newest coaster is called the Steel Curtain, which is one of those
This
G forces type of things, and
right.
they have three steel coasters and then three old style wooden coasters that have been there over 100 years. Jackrabbit is 100 years old. It turned 100 years old this past summer, but they weren't able to
Wow.
do the proper celebration. But they have just regular amusement rides, nothing too fancy, but they still cater to a lot of the families, and they have school picnics because they still have picnic groves area, and a lot of times that was the one thing that the Kennywood family, because it was actually family owned for the longest time, and now
Right.
it's owned by a corporation because that's
Right.
basically how you're going to survive anyway. But not that they couldn't run it as a family, no one really wanted to do it. It was just smart at that point to go
Right.
ahead and move into that. But but yeah, they offer tickets to local schools that have like their school day at the park. Um, and I don't know if they still do it, but they used to have math days there, or
Ah.
physics days. Yeah, at
Uh-huh.
the beginning of the year, they would do physics days. I'm not sure if they offer that anymore or not, but I know throughout the years earlier they would offer that. But it's nice. It's not a huge park, but it does get
Right.
fairly crowded, and like I said, they try to keep it more family oriented. But then with the larger coasters, it does bring in the coaster enthusiasts and all those different groups.
Right. Right. Excuse me one second.
No problem. Yes, Rhonda, it does. Since the steel mills are gone, it is cleaning up. Although they still have days where the ozone
Walt from
area.
Mouse Talk, if you're out there, this is your favorite excuse for getting up during a live stream. Walt gets up all the time for his dogs. So I feel you, Walt. I feel you. I'm right there with you. Well, that's really cool. So how long has your channel been around? When did you start it?
Um, I started it. Let's see, probably 2018. I think it was like January of 2018 was like my first the first YouTube video, or maybe 2019.
Right.
Yeah, it's about 2 years old now, a little
Cool.
over two
Cool.
years old. Because, like I said, I just started watching and was just using it to watch and chat with people. But then I just started getting going, and then um, a lot of it was because I had health things and I needed something to do during that time.
Right.
So I was watching a lot of the streams, and I still watch a lot of a few group of people, and when I get a chance to live stream, what really started a lot of the home streams. I wasn't really too crazy about wanting to jump on and do a home stream and stuff like that. I'd rather be behind the camera and out live streaming. It just felt easier than trying to come up with ideas. But when I kind of just started like, hey, I'll show my merchandise that I bought or whatever. And then during the time that everything was shut down for the pandemic type of thing, um, I thought, well, I'm off. I can start doing some other things or go late at night. And I thought I knew I played trivia on some channels, and then the one channel that I used to play trivia every week, they decided that they wanted to take a break and maybe change their channel around and everything. And I thought, well, it probably wouldn't hurt to do trivia. I like doing trivia. I started with Disney trivia, but then I pulled out other games to attract other people and not always do Disney, because you don't always have somebody who's seen a lot of the Disney stuff or movies and everything. So then I use like Trivial Pursuit, or I'll pick up a trivia game. I do have like an America pop culture trivia and
Right.
stuff like that. So I was doing a lot of that during my time that I was off, and that's pretty much all you could do is just kind of come up with different things. And I would see different questionnaires that people had posted on Instagram, and I thought, hey, why not talk about that, or my favorite restaurants, or my favorite rides, or resorts, you know. So just to kind of keep that going. But I don't have like a set each week. It's not like okay, I'm going to follow this pattern or do that. I try to mix it up.
Yeah, well, you guys got to check out Amy's channel because you know the trailer for the channel that everybody has, sort of an
Yeah.
explanation of it. She's got a very interesting channel. If you go to her channel, she has a description of her channel as you're checking out old-fashioned candies, which I thought was really cool. I like that very much. So. Anyway, you should check out Amy's channel, AJC Magic TV. I'm from the Atlanta area. And so you've probably heard this. So the newspaper there is the Atlanta Journal Constitution, the AJC as everyone calls it. And
Okay.
so I think I was doing something. I was doing something like 2 years ago when I started up the channel, and because it's been inconsistent, growing slow,
Yeah.
um, and I saw something. You put something. You like posted something like, "Oh, that's cool" or something like that. And I was like, "HAC Magic TV. Oh, does the newspaper have like a media part on YouTube or something?" And that's the very first time I became aware of you. And then I was like, "That's not the newspaper. What the heck am I talking about?"
Yeah, it's actually
So
a mixture of the two other people that helped me come up with the name. So it's our first initials of our name. Just
right.
putting it,
Oh,
yeah.
I got it. I got it. So that's the
But the
name.
other
It
two people, they're more
Amy.
background. Amy, Jolene, and Colton. But they're more background.
Got it.
They'll hold the camera for different things, or if we do Legos or something, they help build them.
My wife will not be seen on live streams. So if you ever
Yeah.
see me walking around in the park with the gimbal and see some woman with red curly hair, and it's like, why is she running?
And
Why is he chasing this woman? It's because she's trying to get behind me, or she
yeah.
doesn't want to be a YouTube star.
Now
So,
I feel your
so
pain there, because
do you?
my my first trip going back, I was with family, and I thought, okay, I got to respect them. So I thought, well, we're going across the ferry boat. I went to my own little corner, went live while I was on the ferry boat, and then, we were walking into the Magic Kingdom, and I thought, well, I'm going to go ahead in because they had to take care of getting a few things before we actually went in, and I went in, and I thought, okay, I got to end the stream because I didn't want them to be on it. And they weren't too crazy about me even doing that, so it was like, okay.
I'm in an interesting position with like streaming in the parks, right? So because I don't have a lot of subscribers yet, so
Yeah.
I didn't even until recently I didn't even have any mods.
Uh,
So I have James and I have one other person now, but sometimes you'll get, as you know, you'll have like nobody and then a flurry of a whole bunch of people. And
yeah.
if you're in the park in the rain in a rainstorm with no one helping you with an umbrella in
Yeah.
the other hand and like the light is reflecting off the screen, you can't like you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's
You
hard to
can't
do.
be a mod.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
I know that part too because I would carry another phone with me because, like you said, I would have one or two mods and they weren't normally in there while I was in the park, so I'd have
right.
my phone and when you first start out, you are getting various people, whether they're regular trolls
Yeah.
or whatever, and you're just like, okay, you'll take whoever, but you don't want that, so you gotta keep deleting their comments and then you know. But
It's very few and far between, but you know, you get like these bots, these automatic things online and
yeah,
everything, and they just kind of disrupt stuff. And you can't. I don't even have enough hands to take care of it.
take care.
So
Yeah.
I'm just at that phase now. So
Yeah, when
so
you're by yourself, it's hard. I usually would put an hour into it. I know when I was there in December, I went live, and there was times I was in the store and I wanted to get some
oh
things, but
god.
I thought, well, let me finish the live stream, then I'm gonna have to go back.
Okay. I know like people who watch this channel have seen this, but if any of you want to check out the most ridiculous, hysterical, frantic, like where's Waldo craziness. A few weeks ago I was at Animal Kingdom by myself and they had one of these sort of rainstorms that lasted about an hour and a half and it was like a monsoon. You know, the kind that rips umbrellas out of people's hands and stuff like that. And I had something that I lost in the rain as I was going on one of those back trails, like the Gorilla Falls exploration trail, and I was trying to find it. So, but the trails have turned into rivers. Literally, the water's up over my ankles, and I'm slogging through, and and even though I'm doing a stream. Yeah, people got into it, but I'm like, I'm getting on Rafiki's train and going back to where I was, and there are trolls on the thing, and I have no mods, and I'm thinking, I gotta upgrade. I got.
Yeah, it takes a while to get there. I like I said, I really my first time I was on the ferry boat, and then I kind of did the main street and stuff, but it was hard to see the chat because the sun was shining and stuff. And then I tried to go live one time at Hollywood Studios, but then I decided I'll just vlog it because it was just easier when I went to go do a couple things on my own. But other than that, I didn't really live stream there. But in December, like you said, you're trying to do different things and go
Exactly.
around. So I'm
That-
not there yet either because I just got a gimbal right before um, all that because I was planning on going in April for the 5K, Star Wars 5K, and then everything shut down. But so I really haven't used my gimbal that much. I've used it around my neighborhood and things, but to take it to places around here, sometimes you get these strange looks like, what are you doing? Or, so you don't want to disrupt something.
So talking about me not being able to walk and chew gum at the same time, I always forget about the chat. So so
Yes.
Dances with Goofy has been saying, I love seeing how Pittsburgh has changed since I've been there. It looks so different now and cleaner. James is shouting out Amy's channel. Dance is saying a few things. Disinfinity is talking about how great Walt's channel, his stream from Hollywood Studios was. Check out Walt's channel, amazing channel. He's gone from just under 2,000 subscribers to over 4,000 just in like the last few months. He goes and streams just about every single day. He was at Hollywood Studios today.
Today,
And
yeah.
I have to say he's been a very big and positive influence on me when I really needed it, because I just got laid off from Disney. If you listen to any of the Disney people, they're trying to be magical, but they ain't feeling so magical, unfortunately. And
Yeah.
I'm not around the people at work who are crazy Disney files. So being able to be around people like Amy is really good for me. And Walt basically shoved me out there a little bit, even though he doesn't know. He's like, what is he talking about? He did. He said, you got to make connections. And I'm like, well, how do I make?
Yeah.
And then I saw Pete McDevitt and I thought, I can talk to people. And look, I just met Amy. So, so this is a great thing for me. Thank you so much for coming on, by the way. I really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Hello, Sherry.
Hi, Wild Bud Fox. How are you? Hello, Sherry. What's going on? So, okay, so let's get a little bit more personal Disney, not Pete McDevitt. I'm not going to ask you what your favorite toilet paper is. Okay? I just want to know about Disney type stuff. So what's your first Disney park memory, like that? Everybody has that Polaroid moment in the back of their head. If a lot of you guys even know what a Polaroid is anymore, it's that snapshot in the back of your head when somebody says, what do you think about this? The thing you see before you even think about it. What's that first image that you have?
It's probably walking down Main Street with the castle, because I went my first year back in 1983. The summer of '83 was the first time I ever gone, and Epcot had just opened too, so there were two parks
Right.
for us to visit. So
That's
and I
interesting.
can
That's
also
about the
remember,
That's about the time for me, because I went to Disney World for the first time when Epcot opened. I was going to school in Miami and drove up there with fraternity brothers. So you remember the castle in 1983 going down Main Street.
yes,
Awesome.
and I
Awesome.
also remember a lot of like the World of Motion at Epcot.
Right.
Because that how mesmerized I was with the animatronics and stuff.
So much about Epcot has changed
Oh
that
yeah,
a lot of people just don't. I mean, Disney has changed so much. A lot
yeah,
of people aren't even aware that, you know, up until 7 or 8 years ago, there were actually dead times of year. You could go at
oh
certain
yeah,
times of year in October or whatever, and it was like COVID attendance, and that was sort of normal until Disney filled in all the gaps with
like festivals.
marathons and festivals, and it used to
Yeah,
just be food and wine, not all of
yeah,
those. Believe it or not.
yeah. And the Halloween parties weren't like every day; they were only certain days of the week and stuff.
Exactly. What's your favorite resort at Walt Disney World?
Yeah, that's a hard one because I've almost stayed at all of them, and it all depends. If I went by each category, my new favorite value is Pop Century. I
Pop
didn't
Century.
really like it at first, um, because the all I really liked All Star movies and stuff, but after staying at Pop Century the last couple times, it kind of grew back on me, and now that the Skyliner's there, and I'm sure that's why it's the hottest one right now because the Skyliner and everything. Now I haven't been there since, um, obviously with the shutdown and everything, where they are now curtailing the buses to Epcot and Hollywood Studios and want you to do the Skyliner more. So it seems a little busier in that area, but if it was kind of a game changer there. Plus, I felt like even though you're at certain parks, you're in the very last walkway bus stops at least at Magic Kingdom and Epcot. Animal Kingdom, you actually had a closer one, and
Yes.
Hollywood Studios, you're kind of back there too. Um, it still felt quick to get to the parks. You were right off the main highway, and you were right on World Drive, or Epcot was right there, and Hollywood Studios is actually you're actually behind Hollywood Studios, so it didn't really take long there. And even to get to Disney Springs, it didn't seem like it took forever to get there. And now that they have it all set up differently, it does take a lot quicker, because before they used to take you all the way around Old Key West and
Yeah.
around Disney, the Saratoga Springs, and pull into each area back then.
The value resorts, I think, are a good bargain.
Yeah.
I've evolved with how I feel about resorts, and it sort of makes sense.
Yeah.
I would stay at resorts that I really liked that were costly. The Wilderness Lodge, the Polynesian.
Yeah, and it also depends on the time of year. Like, I love the beach club because I love
that too.
one of the things I really love is walking in the back of Epcot and actually leaving out the back of Epcot. And there's times I find myself, even during the day, and I want to go to another park, instead of walking all the way back up to the monorail or whatever, I'll go over to the beach club or boardwalk and catch a bus to one of the other parks. Just because it's so much easier, I don't have to tire myself out.
Exactly.
All the way through Epcot.
And that's an old favorite too, the beach club. I've always loved that.
Yeah.
I've loved the beach club because when there weren't all the festivals and it was just food and wine, I wouldn't intend on this happening, but you're walking around World Showcase and everything is just a little snack and a little beer and a little snack and a little sake and a little snack and a little wine. And so by the time you do that, you're kind of like, I just want to lay down. And so to take that little walk through the International Gateway and to go into the beach club was great. Where I've gone, I think, is I love some of, I love the lobby of the Wilderness Lodge. I love the Polynesian. But I found over the years that, like a lot of people, when I used to live out of state, that is, not now, but when I was living out of state, I would want to get every minute out of my trip, like a marathon. You know how that is, especially with the heat and everything. And I would sign up to go have early morning breakfasts, and I'd be walking with a cup of coffee out from my hotel room, out of, say, the Polynesian, and I would barely see it. And then I would run up through after hours events and be coming back at like 1:30 in the morning and then barely see it. And I would realize I never went in the pool. I never hardly stayed and saw the resort. Why don't I stay in a value resort? And if I want to hang around in the Wilderness Lodge lobby, go to Whispering Canyon and then just go hang out in the lobby for a half an hour.
Yeah.
Why do I have to pay those prices every night, And I think that works out well. I think a lot of people should, would do that if they can't afford it. And also I've really done the range too. When I've wanted to come I think it was for Galaxy's Edge, and I wanted to have the extra morning magic hours for the opening of Galaxy's Edge, and I couldn't. There was no availability anywhere else. I discovered, because I actually like camping. I don't have an RV, but for only $60, 60, not $700 like at the Polynesian, for $60, you can rent a tent pad where you can drive right in. You could go and buy a Walmart tent for another $60. Plop it on the thing, put your stuff in it, and you get all of the perks that anyone else staying at a resort is, whether it's $660 or $600, and I figure that out with Galaxy's Edge. So it's interesting how they let it work for everyone.
Each level, the Caribbean beach is that's always been a favorite of my family, but we've always stayed there since it was the first one to open and everything. I stayed at Port Orleans, Riverside, and the French Quarter, but we really like that Caribbean beach. I know it took a lot of bad hits. It still kind of does. But all the moderates are large. And, there's no way around it or whatever. Now that they kind of cut the resort in half at Caribbean Beach.
Oh, yeah.
But it's still fairly large.
Disinfinity, thank you for welcoming everybody to the stream, being that I don't. Thank you, everybody. Welcome. Amy welcomes you.
And
What's my favorite park, Bob? My favorite park is actually still Magic Kingdom, believe it or not. If somebody said to me right now, you can only go to one Disney park for, you can't go back for 5 years, and I went tomorrow, I would just imagine, because that's where I find the magic. That's
yeah,
where I'd be able to hold that magic. We love Pop Century. It's always fun. Yeah, Pop Century. Any of Pop Century, Art of Animation. I've stayed at the what is it? Not pop music. The music one I've stayed at always has availability.
yeah.
This also All Star Music, All Star Sports,
And then movies.
um, and then
Yeah,
movies.
the sports. I think they're in the process of. I know they did
Yeah,
also movies, and then music kind of got the remodel. I don't know if they ever finished, but then I'm wondering when sports will get it, or if they're doing that, you know, now or whatever, like the Pop Century rooms. Um, but it does need an upgrade. I've stayed there a couple times because, like you, I would just go open and close to the parks. I may get into the pool like one time, if any,
right,
if at all, because it also
right,
depends on the time of year. In December, I'm not wanting to swim in the colder months. I know there
right.
are tons of other people like, hey, I live up in the cold, and I don't care what it is, down there. I just don't swim that often, and I always felt bad because we were staying at the Caribbean beach with my niece and nephews, and maybe like twice they got to go to the pool the whole trip we were there. So we'd end up, hey, let's, so you kind of felt bad because you look back at it like they didn't get to go to the pool that often.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah. I always felt that way. I mean, the Grand Floridian pool. It looks so great with all the hat and everything,
Right.
and the
Yeah.
Polynesian, the beach club, the big
Yeah.
pool with the sand
We
in it, and I
spent
would
time.
never go in it.
Yeah. Now, when we stayed at the beach club, we made sure we spent time there
Did you?
during the day. Yeah. Just because, like you said, it was the best pool, the water slide, and just the different currents in different areas. And even if it was an hour or so, not like a whole day, but enough to take the break and then kind of relax and then get ready to go back to the parks.
Right, right. Wow. So we've heard about where you've been and how things started out, and how you really just wanted to chat with friends, Disney files. Anyway, by the way, I know a whole bunch of people, I guess, started on Facebook doing streams because they didn't have 1,000 subs yet. So they had to do. I know a guy I like very much who I'd love to meet one day, Lou Mongello from. He
Oh,
has
yeah.
that podcast,
Yeah.
WDW Radio. He does meetups with people, and but he does. I don't think he's on Facebook. I mean on YouTube. He just does Facebook
And I think he's on
streams.
Instagram too.
Is he
I did get to meet him. Um, Before I even was on YouTube, there was some
really?
Disney news groups and different places like allears.net and Mouse
Right.
Savers.
Yeah.
They, allears.net, and then this other news group that I was part of that I still kind of am. I sometimes I'll chat in there, and they do some meetups in December. But they used to do some pretty big meetups around Disney in December, and it got kind of big when a couple of the people got together. I don't know if you ever heard of the Passporter Guide to Disney and those people, and then they kind of split and ended their reign of tour books and stuff like that. But
Hmm.
but Lou Mongello and Len Testa and them, they knew the original All Ears people. Now there's another
Uh,
girl who I believe bought it out and is running it and stuff like
right.
that.
She is. Yeah.
But they would do
Interesting.
meetups, and I know the one Disney news group that I sometimes will do. They'll meet up every once in a while. Every December they'll put out dates, and if you're there and want to meet up with them, they put out a little schedule of what parks they're going to be at and stuff. And it's something different, especially if you're at the parks a lot and you're looking for
Right.
something different. I
Right.
participated in scavenger hunts, which I'm sure Disney really doesn't want you doing in the parks and
No,
stuff. But
especially now.
yeah, and plus it would probably be a lot harder because you
Right.
had to have those reservations and stuff. But
Yeah.
sometimes
Yeah.
it would be just running around the resorts, like pick the monorail resorts and have questions or certain things in Epcot if we were in Epcot that day, or
Wow.
just go have a character dinner. A lot of things like the illumination boat rides and stuff like that. So
Right. Right. So let's see. Disinfinity says they love the Pop Century. It's always fun. Yeah, it is.
yeah,
Orlando Adventures, who used to be the Disney Kid, please check out his channel. He is a young man that's, I don't know, just you tell me, Orlando Adventures, would you have 40 subscribers last I saw? It's all about the quality, not the quantity. So you just keep doing
yeah.
your thing and enjoying the heck out of it. You're real young. It's something to do. And let's see. So excited for the future streams. And this one is awesome too. Thank you, Orlando Adventures, Caribbean Beach, Great Resort. We're staying at the Hard Rock in December, Dances with Goofy Adventures. And I am so hoping it's warm enough to swim, LOL. Well, it
That's
could be. You don't know, but if it's a
Yeah.
heated pool, I don't know. Is it a heated pool at the Hard Rock? If it is, it'll be fine. I don't know.
Yeah, I
It
don't
doesn't.
know. I've only stayed at Royal Pacific at Universal at one time, and it was December, and the day actually was warm enough that I did go into their pool there. But they say they're heated, but it just depends.
If it goes down to 40, it doesn't hold.
Yeah,
Disinfinity,
their
yeah, we
pool.
actually saw Lou Mangello and his son at the Polynesian pool once. Really? I don't even know what he looks like. All I know is I hear his stories of moving down from New York and how it was
Yeah.
the greatest thing he ever did and all of that.
And
Interesting.
that's the thing. I know if I was down at the parks, I would be doing what Walt's doing in the parks any
Yeah.
chance that I could get. I'd be live streaming. I've watched them grow. Anybody, there's another channel I every once in a while caught during the time when I was off work. They would be doing just showing the park rides and different things like that. And they had way under 1,000, and they're way over 1,000 now because the park's open and they've been there almost every day streaming from Universal or one of the Disney parks or
Yeah.
SeaWorld or wherever. So
Well, so my situation is, as I told you, we're both former
yeah,
cast members. I'm recently departed from Disney. They all the people that you've heard of that have been fired from Disney, they still have health benefits and park passes until December 4th. And they're being very nice about it, actually. I got a call today, some insider sort of info. I got a call today from a company that Disney has hired that are transition experts, they call them. And basically what they do is they're calling all the cast members and they're helping them to try to transition them into another job. So I worked at a call center, so, they try to get you to get a good resume. They try to get you connected with people. They between that and the benefits and everything, there are a lot of opinions on what they've done, but there's actually a lot that they have done too.
oh yeah,
So interesting. But they're all talking about the pool now, the Hard Rock pool. It is heated. Have you seen that pool? I've been in the South long enough that if it
it
isn't
looks like
90 or above, it's too cold to swim.
it's a lake type of pool. So yeah,
So okay. So what do you have any idea? I mean, most people are just kind of taking it on the fly, but I know you're talking about you just got a gimbal, you said.
mm-hmm.
So how has it grown and evolved, and where do you think it's going to be if I talk to you next year? You think you'd be telling me that, you've started to stream more, or I've moved to Orlando, or
Yeah, I probably won't be moving to Orlando just because things there, I would have to find it.
Yes.
I don't have a
Yeah.
job where I could work from home and say, okay, I'm moving to Florida
Right.
and that's where I'm going to work out of. It would be
Right.
nice if I had something like that where I could work anywhere. But now, if I moved from here, I definitely would have to find a job.
Right.
And right now, it's not really. I don't think it's ideal at this point, and for me to leave something that I have right now. I'm hoping that I will be live streaming a little more. I don't know if
Right.
it'll be. Um, Hopefully, Disney will be sprinkled throughout the time, because there are other places I do want to hopefully try to get to, but I know Orlando is one of the places that I do enjoy vacationing, because I do love. I don't just like going to Disney. I love going to Disney, and yeah, it's like, oh my, you're going to other parks, but I love going to Universal. I've been there since it first opened,
Right.
and
Right.
I know there you can't really do the rides and stuff, but it's good to maybe like after you do some of the rides for a while, then okay, I'm going to go live for an hour and walk around and show them different
Right.
places and things, and then end the stream and go back to riding depending on what the park hours and stuff are.
Hey, Walt from Mouse Talk. How are you,
Hello,
guy?
Walt.
You did a great stream today from Hollywood Studios. Disinfinity and some other people were saying so. I thought so as well. I was going to get on there, and then I had a bunch of family stuff that I had to attend to, and then the stream. So I'm glad to see that you're out there all the time. Walt, you were about to start. I don't know. I hope I'm not streaming on the same days as you, but because I have limited park passes between now and December 5th, and a lot of the weekends and some other days are blocked out, I'm going to be out there streaming my butt off between now and December 5th in the parks. So if you happen to bump into somebody who looks kind of like me, but I'm behind a mask, it's without the hat, because I wear like a those hats that they sell at Animal Kingdom with the mesh, like the safari hats.
Oh yeah.
That would be me, because I would die in a hat like that in 100 degrees. Anyway,
yeah, I'm hoping that I'll be able to stream more. I know around this area, places are kind of opening back up, some of the museums and stuff.
right,
And I've had requests of people asking about museums. Like one Saturday I decided right before the 9/11 anniversary and stuff, I went out to the Flight 93. I was trying to live stream, but I could only do it outside. When I went into the building, the signal wasn't good, so I vlogged and took pictures and made a little video out of what's inside there. But but you're also not getting the full effect with the way things are set up. But once things kind of hopefully open back up, they do have a lot of things that is very emotional. It's very emotional anyway to go and read and look at all the stuff that had happened, and being so close to where that had happened,
yeah,
and everything. I did have requests of people asking about the museums. I've been on our Gateway Clipper riverboat cruises that are around Pittsburgh. I mean, you can only do that so many times, but that, and I've gone up to Mount Washington, which is kind of like a tourist.
Oh, yeah.
People live up there, but a lot of people like to tourist because you get a great view of the city of Pittsburgh. And I've gone there and waited till the sun went down to give people a sunset type of thing and just talk about Pittsburgh or whatever. I've done that a couple times. But I haven't been to like our Science Center or our Carnegie Museum. I know there are other Pittsburgh live streamers out there that have done that, but I haven't really gotten back into those things just because I wasn't sure what's open, what's not. You have to make the reservation. I have memberships for the places. I just haven't made the effort yet to like, okay, let's do this.
You should do that. I've never been to Pittsburgh. I sat there, and it was just, you were on a trolley with the conductor just going down the tracks, and I was just sitting there, enthralled. And my wife came in, she's like, "What are you watching?" I'm like, "Wait." And she's like, "What are you looking at?"
I looked it up one day, and I thought, because I had been looking at it, and I'm like, okay, you know what, I'm off. Maybe I'll just go down there. Because I was looking at other places, and then that just fit the timing of where I was. And I was close by, and I thought, okay, I'm going to do this.
Oh
And
gosh.
so that there's a lot of different little places around. Over the summer, I did go up to Prescott State Park up in Erie, Pennsylvania.
Right.
It's a lake beach, is kind of a windy day, and I did show the peninsula and the waves and different things. It was harder that stream because I didn't have my assistants with me. Usually my niece and nephew will come with me. But that day was just like a day I got up and thought, you know, I'm going for a ride. I'm going to just show it.
Yeah.
If they're with me, then I can do the car ride up there, and they can, you know, see, people can see like the scenery of, you know, the highway and things. And especially now, I know a couple of friends of mine, they just did a stream going up to there and seeing the leaves and different things. But
Oh, pretty.
yeah,
Let's see. Walt says, that's good, Bob. Just keep on streaming. Dances with Goofy Adventures, the hat is necessary. Trademark LOL. Dances also asked, so they having the Pumpkin Fest this year?
um, I think it's going to be a virtual one from what I heard, but I'm not totally sure because I haven't really heard anything. And there's only a couple weekends I know where Zoo is doing a Zubu drive-through type of thing. I thought about doing that. I still would have to look into it. I mean, there's only this weekend and then next weekend. Well, next weekend's Halloween, but I haven't really looked into that. But I plan on doing the zoo lights. They're going to have a drive-through zoo lights, and I'll have
That's
my
cool.
brother drive the car, and then I can film from the passenger seat. Or if I
Cool.
end up driving the car, make sure I have someone else to film from the passenger seat. I do have like a holder and stuff, but I don't like to usually do that because I can't really want to watch chat and stuff. And I also work for a company where that's kind of frowned upon doing something like that in the
Right.
car. So,
Right. Right. All right. So if you think about like those first few videos that you made when you just wanted to chat with people, and
yeah.
like the last few videos that you just made, and you kind of compared them, you know, how do you think you're thinking, along with what's happened with the evolution of YouTube? How do you think your channel's grown and evolved?
Um, I think it's grown fairly well. I'm kind of at a standstill right now just because the only content that if I do something, it has to either be a home show or I have to get out there and try and do a stream. So I'm not at a standstill like views and different things, but it's that growership and stuff like that. So uh, I I I do have to start thinking about inviting people maybe on my channel and talk about different things or interviewing different people to kind of get different exposure to different people and meet
Right.
different people. You know, I thought about that, but my time is like 6 o'clock on the Eastern Coast time. That's a lot of
Yeah.
times people just get home from work at 5, and it's dinner time and stuff like that. I try to move around, but there's just so many other people streaming at
I
times
know.
that
I
it's
know.
hard to find a spot. And I finally found a little bit of a comfort zone there. But a lot of times I'll try to sneak in a late night trivia, and and I'll pick up some West Coast people and stuff. So it's just hard, the delicate type of thing. If I was home during the day, but I work Monday through Friday at a certain time period, that it would be nice during the day because there are a few days I'll be at work looking and nobody's live streaming, and it'd be like, man, if I was off or I didn't have to be at work till later, I could have done a stream or something like that. And then there's other times I do see people streaming, so it just varies.
There are so many channels now that I know, it's been sort of a tradition to not kind of step on each other's
Yeah,
toes.
and now you exactly.
And now I was just laughing about, I just said to Walt a minute ago, I might be out there because he's out there every day. And okay, so I've been doing my thing. For anybody who out there who's not a YouTuber, it's a big thing what YouTube likes and how they promote you and how you get more subscribers is being consistent. So I'm trying to do like my interviews every Wednesday at 7 o'clock. And there's no way. Half of the people that I want to interview, it's like they got to do it on Tuesday or they got to do it on Thursday because they have one. Amy was so gracious, but she had to rush off and get off of her stream that was just before this a few minutes early to get here. So I think we're getting to the point now where, oh, yeah, did you see when Dean at the Live Place had the whole week of movie marathon stuff just recently?
Yes.
It's like I'm like doing 2 movie things and my own stuff, and I'm like, half the people had to watch a replay of one of my things. There was no way. That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, that really does affect what you do.
Problems on my show day, so I went live like on a Saturday before trivia and went over my list real quick. I kind of felt bad because I was like, hey, I had a couple people go, what happened to Wishful Wednesdays? And I'm like, oh, the technical difficulty type of thing. And then I said I'm planning on doing some things. And I know, like, I just started thinking for a while there, I was, I could move into a 7 or 8 o'clock, but then some of those people like watching the same, I'm competing for those same people that are watching this or that. But a lot of times I have just put it out there, and if you come, you come. The trivia, it does help to have a little more people in there, so that's a little bit harder to, if you don't have at least 3 or 4 people, then that doesn't really go anywhere. I mean, I can do the questions, and then people who are watching a replay can play along themselves, but it's just hard to kind of do that.
So we're sort of aware of where you've been, what's going on with YouTube. We can see there's a scheduling problem because there are so many. What do you think about the future? Do you want to stream more then, I guess? Is that the big...
I'd like to try to stream a little more, pick a little bit more of a prime time of being able to... my big thing, I'm not saying I don't, I'd like to try to be consistent as much, like you said, with, I had picked the time like on a Tuesday, and for a while there it was working, and then all of a sudden one of the more popular channel that I would watch whenever they were on another day decided that they were moving into that spot, and I thought, well, there goes my audience, because I was, a lot of them watched him and me, so it was like, okay, I got to move off of that day. And then for a while there, I was jumping around because I couldn't get into a spot anywhere and to get some people. And then whenever the time off, that kind of helped because I knew I had the subscribers. I got them about November of 2019. And then I had to work on my hours because I knew I was coming up to like the year time. So the being off time really helped because I was able to do an hour or 2 hour streams during the day of trivia or even late night of doing an hour and a half stream of trivia and getting different people on there.
Well, it's really interesting, and I'm sure you've noticed this too. I think as a function of 2 things. One, that it's getting more congested, and I don't want to be streaming when I've got 400 people and some other guy's got 9,000 people. That doesn't really, plus if he's my friend. But the other thing is, have you noticed that streams have moved into later times? A year ago, you didn't see a half a dozen very well-known people doing regular streams like this, talking streams from home at 10 o'clock at night. Yeah. I think I saw Shep. Was it Shep? No, it wasn't Shep. It was, might have been Shep. It was one of the Dis and Dat crews.
Probably Shep.
He was like, it was like I woke up the next morning and I'm looking on my phone and it said, "Let's talk. Are you still up?" And it was like 1 o'clock in the morning or something like that. And I was like, what? But I guess they're figuring people are at home. They're not spending a lot of time on the roads. You know, it's a different
Yeah.
thing working at home. And adults are up, and
Yeah.
they're looking at their phone, and they're actually watching. He actually had a bunch of people
Oh,
watching.
that might have been Steve when he came
Oh,
home from
Steve. It was
his trip
Steve.
the other night. Yeah, on
Is that
Monday.
it?
And he's known to stay up and do different streams in the middle of the night. Like before
Steve
his
the other
Disney
night.
trips, he would stay up and do that all night and then
Dances
leave for the.
Dancing with Goofy Adventures said he had a space when others streamed, and then after a while he just did his thing. Yeah, I think really people like
Yeah, and that's pretty
Amy and
much
I just have to do that.
what you have to do. And I don't like Sundays. Sometimes I don't really care to do. I like Sundays was something I had thought about, but I do things on Sunday that it was kind of like, well, I don't want to rush and do that. Um, and I usually will leave that open if I decide, hey, let's go for a drive. Let's go. We're gonna go to the Lego store. Let's go live while we're in the Lego store, or we're gonna go over to the mall. We have a Disney store here, and so I leave like Saturdays and Sundays for surprise streams like that. And whoever's on is on. I try not to, I know some people early Saturdays are on. I try not to go then. I go in between, like you said. But then there's other times where I'll just go live and
Uh,
whoever's on, somebody will catch the replay later
yeah,
and stuff.
yeah, pretty much. Well, it was really nice getting to know you.
Oh, you're welcome.
And do you have any trips to Disney kind of planned or in the back of your head to maybe be planned?
I have a couple trips in the back of my head. I actually had a couple trips where I kind of ended up canceling and rebooking, and I do kind of
Yeah,
have one that's rebooked, but it's probably going to end up getting canceled, just because I have some different things going on, and as soon as I pick something, it's like okay, it's not going to work, and so I'm looking at some time where I have off in early December, possibly go down. I also have to watch because I know, everyone says, they feel safer at Disney. I do see them, following the rules and enforcing that and stuff, but I have an immunosuppressant type of condition, so I just have to watch with that. So that's the little bit of the hesitance of like, okay, it is getting a little crowded there. Maybe I would have been better off going back when they first opened, and not as many not as many people it seemed like in the parks. But then at the
I,
same time, I have to watch that.
I totally
But I also
understand.
know, I plan on carrying the sanitizer and all that stuff. But
Well, I didn't mention it, but I have an immunocompromised sort of thing too. I have a brittle diabetic condition. It's not
okay,
really under control, and so you don't
nah,
heal well with anything. So anyway, so what I didn't tell you is when I go and I'm streaming, I don't wear this so much when you see me because I'm taking something off and putting it back on. But I've got a mask on, and I've also got a face shield sort of thing that slips over the bill of a Disney baseball cap. So I wear a face shield and a mask and hand sanitizer all over the place. And what happened on that live stream when I was running around in the pouring rain is I was looking for this special face shield that I had left somewhere. So
okay,
I am very much on the same page you are about being careful of stuff because it's not worth me getting sick.
yeah.
Whereas, a lot of people are like, it's safe, it's safe. Well, yeah, but I got to be careful.
And
So,
and I know I got to be careful, but then I see people that I do know that have issues too, and you're like, okay, they're going,
I know,
would I
I
be that one
know,
person that gets sick
I know.
or not? And and I've talked, and I know, I the one weekend I was going to go, my sister's family was going to be down there for something else. I wasn't going to be with them because I was going to be with friends who actually live down there and hang out and stuff. But I was going to stay on Disney property, and I was planning on doing the parks and stuff. But I haven't talked to my sister about, okay, what was the airplane like? Although they've flown down a couple times during this time because they do have a child who lives down there and works at Disney and stuff. So they were kind of helping them move and do a few other things. They are still employed right now because they're in
Good for them.
attractions and stuff like that. So
Very good.
they got lucky there. Hopefully
Yep.
things, hopefully things do um, keep
Yeah.
going well, and they, you know, with being in attractions, they're above like the last bit of people who were hired through like the college programs and stuff because they've been there,
Right.
but they haven't really been there that long. They're but been there almost 3 years now, but it's still they're in that lower echelon that if they decide to take a whole chunk of people out of the full timers, then that
Yeah.
would be
Yeah. Nobody feels safe right
yeah.
now. So my wife's in the other room working for Disney at home right now, and they're all kind of they're in the. Not only should you feel bad for the people who got laid off, but the people who are still working are mourning for the coworkers that they lost,
Lost,
and
yeah.
they have to deal with the stress of
Picking
of
up that slack.
well, people who want to know why they're not selling
Oh
annual
yeah,
passes, and people who
yeah.
want COVID to go away. And if we're so magical, why can't we make the world just change and that kind of stuff? And I wish they could. I wish I would just go to sleep after the stream and wake up and just, oh, this never happened. It was a nightmare. This COVID never happened.
Yeah,
But those people, a lot of those people are working the jobs of a few people, trying to keep the ship going for
yeah.
Disney.
Oh yeah.
And so please be kind to those staff members. They go through, I can't even tell you, and I really can't. All right, so real quick, the DePhilly crew. How are you? Like an old Beach Boys song. I get around what? I get around at the DePhilly crew. Fancy meeting you here, James. Melissa Mouse Talk. Hey, Melissa, how are you? She's saying hi to Amy and Bob.
Hello, Melissa.
Wild
And
Bud
that's the thing.
Talk.
I have friends. I know two people who just moved down there and they can't get annual passes, and that's what
Exactly.
they want. They're able to get the Florida resident tickets, but that's not going to last them too long, and they don't want to have to keep buying them. So it's
I would
like,
recommend. I would recommend to anybody strongly, if annual passes come up for sale, don't
okay,
think more than a minute about them. Get them immediately, because if they decide
yeah,
to not sell them again, our annual passes expired. My wife and I became cast members, and we both could go to the parks most of the time, except for the Hollywood studios. Mine are gonna expire on December 4th, and then I only have a few for a year through my wife.
right,
So I know the second she finds out that I don't care if we can't afford it, if we have to go on the payment plan, if I got to borrow money from relatives,
getting
we're
the
getting
annual
one.
pass.
Yes,
Yeah, I'm
yes,
going to be renewing mine. In fact, I was looking today because it doesn't renew till like the middle of November, but it's there. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to renew this before they take that away.
oh God, wow. All right, well, thank you so much,
Oh,
Amy.
you're welcome.
I know I've kept you for a while, and now you've
Oh,
been
no, that's
streaming
okay.
2 streams in a row. I hope if you're ever down here, please look me up. I'd love to meet you in person. And anything you want to say before we sign off?
Um, no, but I do thank you for inviting me on. Um, it was nice to get to know you, or at least talk about Disney to different people and talk about our favorite things. And hopefully things get better for you in the future here
They will.
and
They
stuff.
will.
So,
I can feel it. They're going to get better. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. And,
yeah,
well, especially for us, immunocompromised type people, they're
yeah,
going to, I know. My doctor, when COVID started, he gave me every shot that he could possibly give me. He gave me Hep shots and just about everything, flu shots and tetanus shots, and I was a pincushion. I know they're going to insist that people like you and I get regardless
yeah.
of how well tested it is, the virus vaccine.
Yeah.
And if it does work, and we're in the first wave, maybe we'll feel more comfortable. So
Yeah.
I hope. I'm like talking myself into it right now. So
Oh yeah. No,
all right, guys. All right, guys, thank you very much. Please do me a special favor. Go to AJC Magic TV and check out Amy's channel and check out all the old-fashioned candies in the trailer. She's got some very, very interesting stuff on there. And, of course, please, I would appreciate you checking One Stop Mouse out as well. Please subscribe to us. And anyhow, I hope all of you guys have a good night. See you real soon. Why? Because we like you. I'll talk to you in a second, Amy.
Okay.